It's to radio on the radio, no radio. And today we're talking about creating personal boundaries. First, let's go by. Sorry, my eye keep twitching. All right, I'm back. First, I want to talk about what are personal boundaries. Personal boundaries are defined as guidelines, rules, or limits that a person creates to identify reasonable, safe, and permissible ways for other people to behave towards them and how they will respond when someone passes those limits. So, today we're going to go about the steps to creating personal boundaries and to figure out whether or not you're setting the proper boundaries in relationships towards other people. Now, not to go too far off topic, but a relationship is just relations between you and another. It doesn't have to be a personal relationship as like girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wife. You know, it could be relations between coworkers, mentorship people, family and or friends. Relationships go about many ways. So, step one, what you want to do is recognize and acknowledge your own feelings. When you want to create a boundary for something, you first have to identify how something makes you feel. Now, the something being an action or words that were said to you, right? Number two, you want to recognize how your boundaries have been crossed, right? So to give you an example, how a person has overstepped your boundary. If you were giving somebody a ride and they didn't say thank you, maybe that could have made you feel like they've overstepped your boundary, like you was doing stuff for free. That's just a little weak excuse that you make up in your head or whatever it makes you feel, but that person has at that time overstepped your boundary, right? So recognize, acknowledge your own feelings, recognize the boundaries that has been crossed. Step three, recognize how you need to set your boundary, right? So that's once you've recognized what it is that's causing you to feel sad, overwhelmed, drained, or upset, then you go about trying to figure out the best way to deal with it, right? The next step after that would be figuring out what needs to be said. If a person is like contacting you all throughout the night, you have to figure out a way to tell them that that's not okay for you to contact it. Or if you're in a relationship and you have like a opposite sex friend, let's say I have a girlfriend. Let's say my girlfriend likes to call me all throughout the day, right? Or she calls me, at nighttime really late. And at that point, she would be overstepping the boundary of I have to figure out how to tell her that's not okay because I have to respect the fact that I have a fiance. See how that works? So that would be you recognizing what needs to be said. Step 4 would be getting grounded. So basically, you have to commit to your feelings. Your feelings are valid. Your feelings are the most important thing to you. You have to recognize that. You can't let somebody make you feel guilty, and you can't be upset about the backlash that you're going to receive from the person. You have to get grounded in your feelings. You have to understand that what you're saying is a touchy topic, and what you're saying is a touchy topic, and if you falter on telling them or feeling the way you feel, like, oh, maybe I'm just being too this or maybe I'm being too that, then you're not going to go forth and get anything solved or create any type of boundaries if the person or the situation makes you feel guilty or you're scared from the backlash that you're going to receive from the person from telling them. Step 5 is to voice it. So once you've already committed to identifying it and you've already figured out how your boundary has been crossed and you already figured out how you need to set your boundary, and you already figured out how you need to say your boundary, and you already figured out and committed to the feelings that you're gonna go forth and do. The next thing you want to do is voice it. So everything else before this is just speculation of how you want to create it. So you're probably writing it down on a piece of paper and analyzing the situation before you say anything. So step 5 is voicing it. You have to but you have to approach the person at that point in time. And you can't control the person's response. So you can't be upset if let's say I'm in a relationship with person X, and we've been talking for 2 years, if your snoring affects me, I can't control the response from me telling them how their snoring affects me. So if I be like, your snoring is keeping me up late at night, right? I can't be like, oh well, I told them, so they should stop snoring now. No, because they're probably gonna have some form of backlash if they're not an understanding person. They're gonna be like, well, I can't, stop snoring, or I don't care what you want me to do about it, or like that is a backlash. That's a form of backlash, and now that's probably gonna make you feel upset because you voiced how you felt about it, and they didn't change it, or they couldn't change it, or they didn't want to care about trying to change it, right? Another one is all right, now this is a personal one, so story time. So I used to have this girlfriend, and she used to contact her boyfriend. No, excuse me, I was her boyfriend. She used to contact this guy, and I was like, yo, like, do you like this guy? Like, what's really good with you? Like, why you let this guy call you all types of night or whatever? Like, what are you doing with this person? Right? My own insecure issues, right? So she tells me, oh well, we just friends. That's cool. So I voiced my opinion, and I say, look, I don't feel comfortable with you talking to this guy. Like, you need to stop talking to this guy because it makes me feel insecure and uncomfortable. Like I said, my own issues at the time. She's like, well, I understand how you feel, but I don't care. I'm not going to stop talking to him because we've been friends forever, blah, 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 right? I told her what it was. Once I tell her, I can't control her response. So obviously, at the time, I was a lot younger. Her response definitely made me upset. But the fact is, I voiced it, and she just came at me what I felt was negative, right? And another thing I want to add is don't change the topic. So once you start to tell them, if they hit you with the backlash, it can become an argument because now they might be a pointing fingers game. Like, well, you this and blah, blah, blah. You're changing the topic. If you're talking to somebody and you're voicing your boundary about what you want to do or how you want to go about changing it or what doesn't make you feel comfortable because you're expressing your feelings, don't let them change the topic, or you don't change the topic yourself by arguing about what the person did last week or what the person going to do next week. Like, just don't change the topic through argument. Voice your opinion and then leave it at that. If they don't accept your opinion, or they don't have any type of corrective measures that, okay, well, we can figure this out, they don't care about that, then what you need to do is worry about step 6, which is taking care of yourself, loving yourself. If you realize that you can't rectify that issue with that person, you need to take some time and recenter and get back with yourself to calm down from the situation and do something like exercise, maybe go out and eat, watch a nice movie. Just take some time to recenter and spend time not thinking about what just happened, because that can make you feel more upset. Step 5 is really tricky because after you voice it, it's either you find a way to rectify it, or you just jump to step 6, which is taking care of yourself. So there you have it. You have 6 different steps that can be helpful, very helpful, towards creating boundaries for you and your relationships. So I'm gonna go through the list again real quick. Step 1, recognize, acknowledge. Step 2, recognize your boundaries and how they have been crossed. Step 3, recognize how you need to set your boundaries. Step 4, get grounded. Commit to your feelings. Your feelings are important. Step 5, voice it. And then step 6, excuse me, the connection's getting a little bit weaker. Step 6 is take care of yourself, love yourself. If you have any questions, please post comments, post hate, post suggestions, like tell me how you feel, ask any questions about whatever step I went through. Also, I'm also taking topics for next week. If you have any topics, I think next week is Halloween. I probably should do like a Halloween special or something. But if you have any ideas, let me know. Also, yeah, that's where we at right now. In my car, my office. This is how I do right now. Stu Radio on the radio, no radio, and I'm signing off. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Like, comment, post, share. Tell me how you feel. Love me, hate me, feel me. Have a good Saturday. Sorry about that. Saturday, definitely Saturday.